Hey there, friends. It's been a while, so I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna start another one of these paintings, these portraits. I'm doing these sort of abstract portraits. The one on the right is the first one I did, and then the one on the left is the second. They're kind of similar, but almost looks like a mother and a daughter. And I want to do a third one, and to do these, I'm using my children's canvases. This is my 3-year-old, my 4-year-old did this, but I let them use my canvases and then I paint them over. So basically, this might be kind of a little bit hard for me to do with the phone in my hand, but I basically just draw the shape of a face, and then I abstract the hair, and for the hair I've got this special blue that I like. Let me see. And the hair, let's see, how am I gonna do the hair? You can get this done rather quickly. Again, this is just rough. I'm just sketching it in roughly, and it can be modified later on. And each one of them is rather different. No two of them are the same, so we'll see how this works out. One of the things I did with these paintings is stick to just 3 colors: green, blue, red. Well, green, blue, red, and a sort of skin tone. And I think doing that has been helpful in keeping some kind of a solid integrity to the painting. Sorry, I need to get more of my painting medium. So this is kind of a warm-up because I haven't been really painting for a little while, and this is kind of like just me getting back into it. And what I did on the first one, which I like, is that I used sort of geometry inside the actual face. So there was a kind of like a triangular structure within the face. By triangular, I mean something like this, or something like, well, I put in the eyes first. I always put in the eyes first, and I'll put in some eyes here. And then I had like a kind of a nose going down like this. Then I just put in a neck. And these kind of shoulder things just to anchor it in, because I think without the shoulders, it just doesn't look right. Like it doesn't, you can't just have a neck sticking out of the bottom of the picture. And usually these shoulders would be sort of pink or red, but I'm not attached to that, so I can experiment and see. Maybe this one doesn't have any clothes on, who knows? So there we go. Just doing this very roughly, and it's a good idea to bring in all the different colors so that I can fine-tune this picture. Let's see. I'm gonna have a little bit of texture in it. Now I can do the hair, or I can do the background. But once it's sketched in, this is super quick to fill in. And of course, I don't know that it's gonna retain these shapes. I might actually modify it later. Right, here we go, continuing the video. So I took them outside. There's that one, which I think is, I took them outside because I like to look at them outdoors in this different light, because this is kind of like the least forgiving light. And if it looks good outdoors, it always looks good indoors. So yeah, just a little bit of that. I don't know. This one I have not looked at outdoors yet, so I took it out here to see if it needs any fine-tuning. Let's see. I don't know. It's a little bit difficult, this one. I don't want it to be too sort of dark or anything, because then she starts looking unhappy or something like that. Like I don't want her to look. I want it to look not necessarily, you know, a toothy smile, but not unhappy either. And that's kind of hard to achieve. Okay, I think I like that better with that little bit of green there. Little green shadow. Yeah, I think I like that, and I think I want to just put some lighter green around her. Still reworking this one. So I really like the freshness of, say, this yellow and that other sort of lighter, more pale yellow, more toned down yellow. Yeah, I like the freshness of it. And let's see. A lot of this is also just like experimentation, because I don't really know that the color that I choose is going to look right. So it's just a matter of trying it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'll try it again. I'll try something else. So it's a lot of this is like, I mean, you might think, how does he know? How do I know what color to use or what shape to form? But it's really just it's really just trial and error. And you might have to work and rework it a bunch before you get the result you want. But that's okay. I mean, as long as you're learning, you want to be learning and seeing what kind of an effect, how does this make you feel? How do these colors make you feel? How they blend? What effect do they have on the picture? And then you're learning. And that's really all you can do. You're just basically always in the process. At least I am always in the process of learning. And that's why it's so important to keep painting, basically, because you stop painting, then you stop learning, then you stop improving. As long as you're learning, as long as you're doing something new, you're going to be improving. Continuing with the video, I made her eyes blue, which I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but Nicholas, my son, pointed out that her eyes are blue, and everybody else's eyes were sort of regular white, so I made them blue, but I think it's the wrong kind of blue. I think I need to go. Interesting. I mean, when you change the color of the eyes, the whole feel changes. I mean, she looks a little bit kind of moody, but I guess it's all right. But I think now I need to make her lips a little bit more pink, a little lighter. It's like putting that color is darker, so it changes the balance of the picture. And now it's asking, I mean, I think it needs some lighter color somewhere. One thing I learned with these portraits is that pink on top of the eyes doesn't really work. So I have to try for something else, something that's not pink, maybe yellow tint or green or blue, whatever, but not pink. It's kind of interesting. Although there should be sort of a shadow under the chin. It's kind of a mix of blending and breaking it up. I don't do too much blending. Too much blending doesn't look good, but too broken up I don't like either. So yeah, I don't know. I think she's good. I think she looks good. Let's move on to this one. This one has a kind of a funny face right now. That one's sort of the most worked. This one is the most simple, and this one is kind of in the middle. It's kind of like the most naturalistic or something. I sort of feel like her eyes are too large. Maybe her nose is too large also, I don't know. good thing I'm not attached to these paintings, because you just saw how it changed. A little less naturalistic. I think maybe the face is just too wide. So I'm gonna put this shadow. If I put the shadow in, it will give it like a feel of her being turned, like turning her head, and then the wideness of the face will be okay because it's going to be sort of turning. And when you're turning the head, it's more forgivable to have a wide face because it's a different angle. And I want to try to get this done with like really sort of sure and clean brush strokes. I don't want to over blend it. I just want to sort of make some brush strokes and make it work. So see, now the main face is just that. Now the actual face is just this area in the front. And that is like a shadow. So it makes it okay to be wide because it's not that her face is wide. Okay. It's the shadow. Well, I did some work without filming it, and most of it just came together this morning because it was looking too rough. Like the first one here is really smooth. You can see the canvas texture in some places over there. Like it's very sort of transparent and not over painted at all. So I like that. This one is a different style. I mean, this is quite painted. Doesn't have as many sort of see-through areas. And then this one, it's kind of like maybe the most painted of the three of them, because here you could still see the canvas texture, and here you no longer see the canvas texture. I mean, it's been so painted over, you don't really see the canvas texture, just maybe in some places like in the ear or something. So yeah, perhaps this one is the most worked on of the three. And that's just because I couldn't get it looking the way I wanted. And I think I increased maybe the size of the head at some point. And then there was a darker green around the hair. And I just, I went over it with this other green. I think it's permanent green light or something. It's transparent. And I did some of this green around the sides, and I went over the dark area with the same green, and it kind of like solidified, having that transparent glazing over it, solidified the look of it. And then of course I put in the blue highlights, put in this other kind of yellowish green, and then I put in these blue highlights in the face and in the hair. And I think just cleaned it up like small. So what I want to try to do here, put in some darker blues. In particular, this is like a Winsor Newton turquoise, and I believe it's transparent, and it should. It should work pretty nicely give it a little bit more depth here in the hair. And you can just actually, as you can see, I can just the way I'm doing this, I'm just carefully going over it, but I'm paying attention to what happens. What is the effect? What is the effect of this color as it blends with or glazes over the other blue? And I can see that it's a good glazing color. I can just glaze over, and that should give it some more depth. I'm not a huge fan of these white, like pure white lines in the hair, and maybe glazing over with this turquoise is what this needs, because that will kill some of the white and make it sort of light turquoise blue. And I think that will solidify the look of it. I think that will give, see, even going around it, going around the hair, and just putting some of that darkness here. We have like 3 distinct layers of green there, and this. So kind of having a dark outline. Just to further solidify her, I like how the face has these highlights, but the highlights in the hair, in a way, take away from the highlights in the face, because there are these white highlights in the hair. They kind of conflict with the face because they call too much attention to themselves. And part of good design in painting is that you don't want to draw too much attention to parts that don't need too much attention. So, in fact, what we want to do is arrange it in such a way that the attention, the eye, basically these brush strokes and contrasts and darks and lights and everything need to lead the viewer's eye to what's important. And not out of the picture, not to what's not important. A lot more. But what I like here, I like these sort of brighter lines on the shoulder, and I think I'm going to go for the same look with this one, just to give it a transition, a border, so it's not just pure red. And I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give it this pink border, and then I'm going to follow up by a sort of very light green border on top, and we're just going to see what happens. I think this very light green should sort of connect. That should connect her to the green background. I don't know about that air. Everything was good except I don't think I like this. I'll fix it. I don't know if I should outline it or not, but probably to sort of give it continuity with the other two pictures. I'm going to try to do the same treatment with the outlining brush. You can use this kind of brush, a flat, a large flat, and just use the side of it and make just as fine, oh, not just as fine, but depending on how much pressure you put on. If you put too much pressure, it's gonna come out fat. So you have to do sort of very light, light touches. Okay, I think I solidified her significantly. Yeah, I think she's much better. It's kind of like I don't know, a little different. Here I like this transition of the colors, which this one doesn't have. And I don't know if I should implement it. Could try to use some of this permanent green light. It's very light. The colors are very light, and they seem to be working together. So I also don't want to mess it up. But maybe a little bit of this heavier, more saturated green around the sides might sort of connect this picture with the other two, because the lack of this background effect kind of bothers me a little bit. I think it's better already with just that little bit of green. And this one, this is okay, but I'm also not crazy about that line. Just don't know what is the point of that, of this white line over there. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm just going over with the same brush. I'm using that permanent green light, but also some of the turquoise, and mixing them together. Yeah, I think these kind of like creamy. This is very creamy now. I put some white in it. It's a very creamy green, and I think I like it. I like that creamy green. I think it goes well with the face, and I think it looks more complete and together than it did when it had that line.